Hi everybody, it's Rob here from GlasData, and today I'm going to show you how to really quickly and easily calibrate your GlasData FeedTrak load cell. Okay, so once you've received your load cell and you've installed it onto the leg of the feed bin that you want to monitor, what it'll start doing is it'll start sending you raw information that looks a bit like this. Okay, so what it's doing is it's tracking the stress on the leg that you've installed it. And what we're doing is we are then going to convert that into estimated kilos of how much feed is left in your silo. Now, there's two important things to notice about this raw information. The first is that there is clearly a decreasing trend as feed is used, which is really good. And the second is that the information can be a little bit lumpy, okay? And that's because it's completely raw, unfiltered data. So our job today is to both filter this and then also to calibrate it so we can estimate how many kilos this is. So the first thing you want to do is go to the tool shed. Now this is the tool shed icon here on the left hand side in the navigation bar. So simply click on that and then you want to find the load cell calibrator tool. Now if you don't have it already here like I do, you can simply go to the explore tools section, find the load cell calibrator and then just hit add to my account if you haven't done so already. And then when you go back in the your tools section, you should see the load cell calibrator and simply click open. And you're going to be taken to a screen like this. Now all you've got to do is you've got to fill in some information and then let the system automatically calibrate your load cell for you. So let's do that now. The first thing you want to do is select the topic where the information is going. So in our case, this is just feed silo to weight. And if you want to know more about topics and assets and columns, then check out the tutorials at knowledge.glas-data.com. The second thing you want to do is then select the asset, which is the load cell that we're going to be calibrating today. We've only got one attached to this account, so let's just select that. And then the third is the column. Now, if you haven't calibrated a load cell before, you'll only see one option here. If you have calibrated a load cell here before, then you'll probably see several columns. Just make sure that you're selecting the one which is the raw information coming from that device. So I'm going to select that now and just simply hit next step. Now the next thing it's going to ask you for is the weights and times when it was empty and then when it was filled up. So ideally we're going to be calibrating when the bin was completely empty, but you can do this when there's still feed left in the bin. You just need a really good estimation of how much feed there was before you filled it up. And then what we do is we use the difference between the empty bin and the full bin to then calibrate the load cell for you. Okay, so in this example we're going to start with an empty bin, so 0 kg. And that was empty on the 12th of February for this example. And that was between 9:30 a.m. So 9:30 a.m. and 3 p.m. So 3 p.m. And I'm just going to hit confirm there. And then we filled it with 10 tons. So this is all done in kilos, so 10,000 kilos. And that was done between, again, on the 12th of February. Between 5:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. 10:30 p.m. Confirm. And then we're just going to hit the next step button. And what it's going to do is it's going to grab the latest value that it's seeing from that load cell. And using the information that you've just told it, it's going to estimate how much feed is left in the bin. Okay. Now it hasn't filtered or smoothed any of the information yet, so this is just a rough estimation. But it'll give you an idea for whether the information you put in is accurate. Now, there's two other boxes here. The first is this apply basic smoothing checkbox, and the second is this apply advanced smoothing checkbox. And this is going to help the system filter the information so that we get a more accurate reading. If you want to know exactly what's going on here, simply hit the question mark button and you'll get a high level overview of how each one is working. And if you want to know even more information, then simply get in touch and we can take you through it. But we do advise that the apply advanced smoothing button stays checked for this process. And then when you fill everything in, simply hit the confirm and create column button and then choose a name for your calibrated column, and we're going to call this estimated kgs. And then just hit this confirm button here, which is the green tick. And then once it's loaded, you should see a little success screen like this with another green tick. And then we can go to the data and have a look and see what it looks like. So feed silo to weight, and then the load cell. So you'll notice that we've created a bunch of columns here, and then most of these you can ignore, but there's two important ones. The first is this smooth reading column. Now this is the system filtering this raw data here. So this has been smoothed out, And then the second is this estimated kgs column, which obviously is how many kilos we think is still left in the feed silo. So every time new information comes into the system, we're going to be doing the smoothing process and then estimating. If you want to have a look at what that looks like on a graph, simply go to the Create Visualisations part and then select it. And let's first have a look at what the raw information looks like versus the smooth information, so you get an idea of what's going on here. So we're just going to have a look at that information around the time that we calibrated it, which is in February. And we're receiving data every 30 minutes. We're going to preview that visualization. And what you can see here is the blue line, which is the raw information I showed you earlier, and then the yellow line, which is the system smoothing out that information and giving you an overall trend as the feed exits the silo. And the other visualization we can have is we can have a look to see how much feed is still left in the bin at any given time. So if you check latest value, and then for the presentation type, choose one of the silo options. I'm going to go for silo solid today. And then select a minimum and maximum value. So the minimum is going to be 0 because that's how empty your bin can be. And the maximum is going to be 10,000 because we're dealing with a 10-ton bin. And then we want to visualize the estimated kgs. And if we hit preview visualization, you will then get a visualization of how much feed is still left in your silo. And I'm going to make that a snappier color. There we go. Okay, if you want to save this visualization and add it to your dashboard, you can simply hit the Create Chart button here. And once that's done, you'll be then taken to your dashboard where you can simply select it from the list on the left, drag it onto your dashboard, and there you go. Every time you log into your system, you're going to see how much feed is left in your silo. I hope that was useful. Do have a look at knowledge.glas-data.com for more information. Happy dataing.